Welcome to Real Life Investing. This is Al. Get in contact with you guys. Going to be talking to you today about Quant. Got to tell you guys that it has been a long time since I've actually bought some crypto. Full disclosure. Now, listen, just going to tell you the truth. Things the actually today I actually bought some, and what I bought, full disclosure, was a little bit more of our friend here, along with a few other ones. But at the same time, just to give you a heads up, it was so far up, so far under 100. I said, you know what? Let me just DCA and get it in while I can. I said, wow. So it is so amazing that all of a sudden Quant is under 100 again. Not only was it under 100, it was under 90. I'm like, holy, I just say, let me just go ahead and jump on this a little bit, DCA a little bit, and just, we know it's not going to be here forever, but man, I said, while it's here, let me just take advantage. But remember, what we say on the channel is not financial advice, but we also just ask you to like and subscribe to us. We really appreciate you guys, and we're growing. Just ask you to grow the channel with us. Also, if you're already a subscriber and you are, into the market, maybe you want to share this particular video with somebody, because of the fact that although the market is, quote, crashing, this is going to be a great opportunity to get into the market. There are people who maybe were never in, that if they get in now and they just wait a few months, they're going to make a lot of money. I'm just saying, not financial advice, right? But this is a great opportunity at this crash, as far as that's concerned, for people to really get in and be able to make a profit. I am really excited, and I am very happy to see Quant go down, a lot of other crypto going down. And the reason why is because I know that they're going back up. I know that there are too many investors, including BlackRock and some of the other gigantic trillion-dollar asset firms that are out there, that are not going to allow these things to stay down. Of course, the market has been manipulated. There are certain powers that we cannot control, and there's certain people who are, how can I say, dealing with aspects we cannot control. But at the same time, there's nothing we can do about that. Best thing for us to do is take advantage of these great opportunities that we see, and Quant is one of those great opportunities. Over and over again, we've gone over the total supply being at about 12 million, which is much less than Bitcoin. We've also talked about the fantastic utility of Quant and how it is growing, how that Quant is growing in demand. So guys, I am not worried about anything, but what I am doing is trying to make sure that I get as much Quant as I can before the sucker goes up to the point where we won't be able to afford it at these prices anymore. So whether it is 3 days, 3 months, 3 weeks, we know that the prices are going to change. And we also know that the prices we see today are not going to be tomorrow's prices. So we have to be very cautious, have to be very careful. Go ahead and take advantage of the opportunity that is right in front of our faces. The thing about it is, I know Warren Buffett was talking about stocks, but he said to be fearful when others are greedy, and to be greedy when others are fearful. This is a time that you need to look at what you feel are your fundamentally best. And I do feel like Quant is one of the most fundamentally best stocks. And you need to really just dig in. Also, another thing we want to talk about with Quant is that Quant has so many followers and so many people in the Quant community. Even right here on CoinMarketCap, I'm seeing where Quant has 231,000 followers. Also, as we, look to do videos and things of that nature, we see that we have a lot of people who are following Quant, who are interested in Quant, who are investing in Quant. So one of the things that we have to understand is that things are going very well. So do not be dismayed. The only reason why you would probably be dismayed is that if you were counting on your investment money for your every crust of your daily bread. We're not trying to do that. We're long-term holders here mostly. Listen, I'm sure we have some day traders around, but that's something that, a lot of us gave up a long time ago. But we are long-term. We're holding for the long term. And when things go extremely well and we feel like we're multiplying our money, that's when we're going to sell. Right. Now, let's go ahead and move a little bit further. We saw the 1 day here, we're down about 2%. On the 7 day, we are down 15%. I want to mention that a lot of other cryptos are down like much, much further than this, like 20%, 50%, 60%. So just keep that in mind as we go to Quant here. Also with Quant, we're down what it's 14% for the month. For the year, I do believe we are up. Yes, we are still up 30% for the year. So keep that in mind as well. All-time Quant is way up, but still about 30,5%. That's a lot of up. So just a heads up on that, guys. Quant is doing quite fine. And the thing is, we got to understand Quant is going to do fine regardless. Quant is not depending on us to like it. The only thing that Quant is doing right now is just waiting because, like, with only 12 million actual coins, tokens in existence, with you have such a large following, you also have such a large utility base. There is no freaking way Quant moves. And let's just be honest about that. Quant is going to be here to stay. Quant is not worried about any of us. So we got to make sure that we're more concerned about getting the job done ourselves. Now, let's move a little bit further, talking about the overall market. Noticing right now the market cap is at 3.74 trillion, still pretty high. Fear and greed is nice and fearful at 31. Alt season is definitely not looking so great as far as looks like 36 out of 100 for alt season. I want to point out that Bitcoin is still close to the all-time high. It's only at 111,000. Okay, as far as like it did not drop. And it did not drop below 100,000. So for those that are panicking, not so much, or not so fast, I should say. Ethereum still looking pretty good at 3,800. BNB is still over $1,000. One of the things I can see about BNB is it is driving very well. Not too long ago, it was under 1,000, but BNB is doing just fine. If you look throughout the market, I'm seeing some great deals. Gotta admit, times like this, if you ever, feel like you just want to get something and it's going to be a surefire bet, you can always grab some Cardano. Just saying, I mean, just absolute, absolute sure bet for that. So the crypto market is definitely going to be moving back up. Our only issue is you have to have enough patience to hang in there with the markets. This is no fun for a lot of us. And I will say this much. Yeah, I lost a little bit of patience, but at the same time, you have to understand that it's either you're in it to win it or you're going to be sell. You're going to sell and you're going to fail. So don't do that. So you might as well hang in there. Also, like I said before, make sure that if you're in the markets, that you're not just putting 100% of all your investments and your savings and everything in crypto. Get your savings account separate. Just, you got to keep this separate because crypto is so volatile. You can't depend on crypto for your emergency fund, your this, your that. You got to make sure you got a separate account for that. So just something to think about. But like I said, this is going to go way up, but sometimes it goes way down. The thing about volatility is that if it goes one direction, it can also go in the other direction as well. Now, taking a look at Bitcoin right here, the Bitcoin dominance is very strong, 59.6%. I remember when Bitcoin dominance was at the 60s. Now it's getting pretty close, but I also noticed right here that Ethereum is still over in double digits. It's still like 12.4%. So no big issues that are going on here. Just keep that in mind. All right, let's go a little bit further. Going to the X site, also known as Twitter. And one of the things I want to point out is that the site still looks the same as it did before. Still got all the great innovative things that were already here. Says the future of capital markets is programmable, interoperable, and significantly more efficient than what exists today. So, I mean, Quant is still doing its thing. There's Gilbert Verdian, founder and CEO, giving his information. You got, when I say his information, you know what I mean, as far as like I'm saying, like giving his great thoughts on the markets, Quant, and, just financial innovations in general. So it says, how can you keep your business financially stable? Follow cash flow, a smarter cash flow management. So, I mean, Quant is still ahead of the game, not even worried about anything that's going on. But we also, Quant is still chosen to build core infrastructure for UK's tokenized sterling deposits. Quant has still got a massive amount of use cases that these guys are putting into effect. Also, you see the Quant Fusion Layer 2.5, nothing like it created in the world. Why banks are moving to public blockchains, especially the Quant. So speaking of banks, let's just go to the Quant website, talk a little bit more, looking at the infrastructure of money as well. So, I mean, today's rapidly evolving world where innovation, speed, and precision define success, your money should work intelligently, but it isn't. It's struggling to keep up and it's holding you back. But of course, that's where you have the programmable money of Quant that comes in. Money is now fit for our digital age. The future of money is intelligent, automated, and interconnected. So this is where Quant comes in as well. Quant PayScript introducing the language of money. So harness programmability of bank accounts and stable coins to transform money, automate complex workflows, and secure a competitive edge in today's markets. So automated money now works for you 24/7. Trusted by central banks and global financial institutions, since we worked on the digital pound, digital euro, and the UK RLN. So who do we serve? Corporates, banks, and capital markets. In other words, the biggest financial institutions on the planet. So this is who Quant serves. This is the thing that we have to understand, is that this is not going anywhere. Things are going to go extremely well. But the thing about it is we have to stay focused. The same fundamentals that were making Quant great last week are the same Quant fundamentals that's making Quant great this week. There are no changes. And the only thing that has changed is a dump in price. And that's the only thing that we are really thinking about at the moment. So therefore, we can't lose sight of what is truly there, because we know that Quant is doing its thing. So, like I said, you've got your Quant Flow, Overledger, Quant Net, Quant Fusion, Discover PayScript. Quant is really doing its thing. It's just the fact that we got to make sure that we are also a part of Quant as well. Now, speaking of Quant, I want you to look at the chart. Yes, it is true that it is at what, $88 at the moment, correct? But notice right here that in the month of May and in the month of April, Quant was down as low as the 60s. So we are not even at that level that it was a few months ago. One of the things we have to understand is that if you can go back in a time machine, and if you could hit April about the 17th or 18th and get Quant for $64, Absolutely, you would. Technically, it's kind of like going back in the time machine, getting this in, let's see what month that was. Yeah, it looks like the top of May or in the middle of May, where Quant was last at this level, right? So just a heads up on that. Keep that in mind. So it's almost like going back in the time machine to get that money. I want you guys to understand one thing. We are in this for the long haul. And if you're willing to take advantage of this opportunity, a lot of you, not everybody, but you may be able to see a chance to get your quant average below $100 at this point. I don't know if you're ever going to come again, but at the same time, I got patience. And like I said before, when this thing crashed like this, I hadn't bought in a while, in a long time. But I said, you know what? I'm going to buy some. What the heck? Because of the fact that anytime I can DCA, get a great average like this, we need to take advantage of it. Guys, this is not going to happen forever. And yeah, we are angry that it takes so long to get some things done. A lot of us have lost patience. And I will admit, I have lost patience. But at the same time, I'm not stupid and I'm not going to sell. I apologize, for saying it that way. But, some people have to sell because of emergency or because they have too much money tied up in just crypto alone. And, I've been at that point at times, and I had to learn better. I had to learn, hey, don't put your money in just one thing. Spread your money out over several things. That's why I call this real life investing. It's not just real life crypto. We'll probably be shifting, after the bull run of crypto is over. I'll probably be shifting into other things to talk about as well. So just a heads up on that, guys. Love you guys. Really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the channel and be blessed. Y'all have a great one. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Please share, like, comment, and subscribe to Real Life Investing. And thank you for watching.